The goal of this skill, listen incarnationally, is to listen at a heart level with empathy. Like Jesus, attuning to the words and nonverbal cues of another person. But since this skill involves speaking as well as listening, we need to talk briefly about how we speak to each other in the new family of Jesus as well. So let me ask you, how did the family you grew up in speak to one another? And this is important because we tend to speak to others the way we were spoken to. No matter what your words say, your heart comes through your tone, your facial expressions, and your body language. People are going to respond to nonverbals more than your words. And in this new family of Jesus, we speak differently. And it's marked by 4 characteristics. We speak respectfully, honestly, clearly, and in a timely fashion. So let's take one at a time. We speak respectfully. To do that, you have to give thought to your words. You can't just blurt them out. Make sure you take the other person's feelings into consideration. Ephesians 4 says to speak in a way that makes it easy for your listener to hear your words. For example, instead of saying, that's your idea, that's ridiculous, you can say respectfully, that's your idea? Well, that's interesting. Help me to understand it. Secondly, we speak honestly. And this is a lot harder than it sounds, but the truth is you have a right to your feelings and thoughts and to speak them. Instead of speaking just honestly and saying, I don't mind if you're late, you can say, I don't mind if you're late, but I'd really appreciate it if you got here by 6 p.m. so that we can eat together. Thirdly, we speak clearly. No hinting, beating around the bush, or being too vague. For example, instead of vaguely saying, you never cook, you could say, I would really like it if you would cook 2 nights a week. Or rather than hinting with, are you busy on Friday? You can clearly ask, would you be willing to give me a ride to the doctor's on Friday? And finally, we speak timely. We're aware of when or the other person are tired, irritated, short on time, and if necessary, we wait for a better time. We'd like to summarize it this way. In the new family of Jesus, we do healthy speaking. We speak respectfully, honestly, clearly, and in a timely fashion. Think for a moment the last time when your speech was not respectful, honest, clear, or timely. Imagine how you could have done it differently. Now let's think about listening together. When it comes to listening, it's hard to show respect sometimes, and it's hard to see where, one person ends and another begins. In unhealthy togetherness, we want or expect the other person to think and feel the way we do about things. And when they don't, we feel threatened. No 2 human beings are alike. We all have different feelings, different thoughts, fears, and values. Healthy individuals understand and respect each other's separateness. They allow one another to have their own thoughts, feelings, fears, and values. This is a critical foundation for being able to listen incarnationally. A key word to grasp is the word attunement. Attunement means not just listening to someone's words, but watching the nonverbals. Things like their eyes, facial expressions, their tone of voice, tears, body posture, the intensity of their words. When we're attuned to a person's words and body language, they feel felt by us. Attunement helps us sift through the facts to get the feelings. Most of us have been trained to listen simply for information or facts. This kind of listening is different. The prize here is emotional connection, not information. God wired us to receive love by having significant others attuned to us. The incarnation of Jesus serves as a beautiful model for this kind of listening. Jesus left his world. He entered our world. He held on to himself, remaining fully God as he became fully human. And then Jesus hung between the 2 worlds. And in the same way as we listen, we leave our world, we enter another person's world. We hold on to ourselves, and like Jesus, we hang between the other person's world and our own. And I want to just mention a couple of things. Lisa and I are going to give an example of this. It's going to look wooden, it's going to feel wooden. And people note this often when they try it for the first time. But trust me, it's a very different experience when you do it for yourself. The structure is meant to provide guardrails to help us listen to the feelings and not just the words. Also, listening doesn't mean agreement. We aren't trying to solve a problem. We're only listening to empathize and to understand. Problem solving is another skill. And research has shown that 70% of problems can be solved through listening. That's really significant. So you really want to learn this skill. So here's what we want you to do. In your groups, one of you will be the speaker and the other the listener, and you'll have to pair up and just watch. And you might have time for all of it, you might not, and then you'll switch. And the guidelines are in your workbook. As the listener, give the speaker your full attention. Don't be thinking about what they're saying and how you can speak back to them in rebuttal. Step into their shoes and feel what they are feeling. Avoid judging or interpreting. Reflect back as accurately as you can what you heard them say. And when you think they're done, ask, is there more? Because many times there is more. When they're done, ask them, of everything you've shared, what's the most important thing you want me to remember? Then as the speaker, this is hard virtually, speak into the, look in the eye, keep statements brief. And if you're saying too much, the listener can stop you and, let the other person paraphrase. If they didn't hear you correctly, let them know that. Include your feelings. And it's critical in this skill to be able to distinguish between thoughts and feelings. Many of us say things like, I feel like going to the movies, or I feel that children should go to school 12 months a year. But if you use the words like or that after I feel, then you're not sharing a feeling, you're sharing a thought. So if you put the word like or that after the word feeling, you're not sharing a feeling, you're sharing a thought. The only word that ought to come after I feel is a feeling. I feel sad, I feel anxious, I feel excited. And there's a sheet with feeling words as one of the documents. Use that and have it in front of you when you do this exercise. And remember, be honest, clear, and respectful. So now turn in your workbooks and follow the instructions as we head into groups.